YouTubers, and welcome to my toy review. This time we are going to take a look at another Headmaster figure, Mindwipe. I think Mindwipe is a really interesting concept, and he could have been quite an interesting character, somewhat a lot like Starscream was, or maybe Hellbat or Hellbatto from the Japanese Master Force series, but unfortunately I think they didn't really use the character as well as they could have in the Headmaster series, so he was just sort of a lackey for the main villain, nothing special, and he had some cool and different powers than the Transformers usually have, in the sense that he could hypnotize his opponents and make them fight each other, which again I think had quite a cool potential, but they didn't really use it in the cartoon. And of course he wasn't really featured in the comics, so he's kind of this obscure character, not really a prominent one, even though I think he looks cool and could have been used a little bit more. Right off the bat, if I might say, I really like his character design and color scheme. He's not as colorful as the other Headmasters. He mostly has this purple with the black going on, but this design sort of reminds me of a mysterious character, something like a ninja, or someone who uses stealth and his mind and brains more than just brute force. So that makes him a really interesting character for me. A lot of pictures, and I think his actual instructions show him with the wings like this. I'm not really a big fan of this. It makes him look too much like a bat, and so that makes his robot mode not too distinguishable from his alternate bat mode. So I prefer to close the wings back like this. I like his head design with the black helmet part and also the black eyes, even though I remember his eyes being a different color in the actual cartoon. The head design looks a lot like his buddy Skullcruncher here. He also has a prominently black head with metallic gold face going on, whereas Mindwipe has a metallic silver face. You might notice that he doesn't really have that many stickers, so if you hate stickers, this is the figure for you, because there's not too many on him. There's one on each sides of the legs and two small ones here, and also his rub symbol. I don't really like the texture of his wings. I think they look fine from the front, because they sort of look metallic and mechanic to me. I think that's fine, but for some reason I don't really like these organic looking parts of my robots. I think it looks weird. I'm not really a big fan of the Beast Wars line or anything like that. That's not really the Transformers I grew up with, so these organic parts always kind of bothered me, even as a kid. Articulation wise, you have a full 360 rotation for the arms, and the legs can bend forward like this, and you can not bend them back at all. At the knees he looks like he has knee articulation, but that's really only for the transformation, because the knees only bend forward like this and do not bend backward at all. Feet also only articulated for transformation reasons. Mindwipe's Headmaster is called Vorat. I think that's quite a cool name. And this is him in all of his robotic glory. You might notice that he kind of has a similar head to Mindwipe, in the sense that his face is painted silver, and other than that everything is black, even those black goggles that he's wearing. Nice detailing going on the body, even though, like the Autobot Headmasters do, Voret also shares the same limbs with Grex here. As you can see, they have the same arms and also the same legs. But the torsos are different and the heads are different too. Transforming him is quite simple. Not really an elaborate transformation. Here you have to put the arms down like this, open the wings, and then you can have this whole section of the torso together with the arms, and you can just turn it around like that. Here you open this red chest piece and flip the bat head out. The bat head is quite nice looking from the front, but if you're looking at it from the back, it has this sort of weird cut and weird open head thing going on, so it's not that really impressive from behind. You have to close the arms up like that, and you also have to push in the hands. Now, I'm not going to do that, and the reason behind that is that I don't have the little pegs that are supposed to be here. So the pegs are broken off, and the pegs are the ones that help you raise the hands out there. So without them it's quite difficult to actually get the hands out, so I'm usually just not pushing them in. It really doesn't make that much of a difference, I think. So then you take the legs and you close the feet like this, and you turn them around to form sort of like a backpack. I'm not really sure why this is designed like this. It doesn't really make any sense for me, to be honest. And you're done. This is the bat mode. As I said, it's not that impressive. You have this tail, which you can kind of have it like this, but you can't really put it in a decent position, and because it is angled like this, you cannot take your figure and just have it sitting on the shelf, because it will trip over, and that's because of the tail. I really don't get why they designed this tail this way. You can kind of see that they went for these little feet that he has in bat mode, and if you're playing with it a little, like having it this way and bending the legs like that, again here having it a little bit more angled differently, then you can kind of have these little feet lined up, but that still doesn't help him much with standing, so he will easily flip over because of the tail. So I'm really not that impressed by this bat mode, to be honest, and I don't really like the fact that he has these visible legs like a backpack, and I guess I like the look of him with these kind of speakers on his arms. He sort of reminds me of Soundwave, I think, and that goes well with his hypnotizing gimmick, so I have to give kudos for that. But other than that, I think it's sort of a disappointing transformation, really. You can open his chest and put his robot body pilot in there, and you can have him standing and be able to close down the lid. I think that's a cool feature, considering that most of these robots have to sit into their vehicles. I think this is the only one where you can actually have him standing up like that. And also he doesn't really have anything to sit on, because this is just a hollow part. You can, however, put him in a sitting position and he would still fit in there, and you could also close the cockpit. So either way, I think it's cool. I really like the fact that they can actually pilot the robotic bodies that they have. This is probably my favorite feature when it comes to Headmasters. I'm missing one accessory for this figure, and that is his gun. I think he came with a red gun or purple one, and I don't really know. I don't have it, and the accessories for these figures are quite expensive on eBay, so I'm probably not even going to buy it. And the main reason for that is that the gun is not part of the transformation, so you're not using the gun anywhere on this robotic body, really. And for me that's really a plus, because in case of all the other Decepticon Headmasters, you really need to have the gun, because they are vital parts of the figure's transformation. For example, in this case, you really need to have the sword for Skullcruncher, because the sword forms the end of the tail in Gator mode. So it's really a bummer if you don't have that accessory, like I don't have it right here. So I'm really delighted that this figure doesn't feature such an accessory, so I really don't feel the need to pay that much money for the gun. So as I mentioned, he's got sort of a disappointing transformation, and I think kind of a disappointing alternate mode, to be honest, but still I think his robot mode is one of the best looking ones. His proportions are really great. He's got decent articulation for a G1 figure, and maybe the easier transformation can be a selling point for younger kids. These Generation 1 Headmasters figures definitely are durable and sturdy figures, so you don't really have to worry about younger kids breaking them, even though, as I mentioned, this one has the Achilles heel of the pegs being easily broken off. With all the flaws I mentioned, I still rather like this figure. I really like how he looks in robot mode, and I'm just a huge fan of Headmasters figures, and Mindwipe is definitely still one of my favorite Headmasters figures. So thank you for watching my review. Stay tuned for more, and goodbye now.